to this organic podcast with Osiris. This beautiful garden from Osiris. She have a room in AirBNB, and I was so wondering when I saw this garden. She grew this garden from organic compost. And how many years?
Well, I've been in the house 25 years. So the trees are all 20-year-old, but not all of them. There's two recent ones that I've just transplanted from the compost a year ago, and they're two avocados. I have the pomegranate tree, and here is the persimmon, and now...
But you started 20 years ago, or when?
Yeah, so somewhere I have a photo of what the yard was little.
It was empty.
There was nothing here, just crabgrass actually. So when my sons were little, especially my eldest, he loved fruits, and so every week I would buy an abundance of fruit for them, and so the remnants, the seeds, I would throw them in the compost, which we can show where it's at, and it's a very simple area here, because you see this here, where all the remnants would go, and all the cuttings from grass and stuff I would just throw there, and so the compost, it's an incredibly rich area. I do nothing for it other than water it just enough to keep it moist, and then nature does the rest. I know that there's ideas that you have to turn it.
And every week you watering this?
Exactly, once a week I water it. And so, and they're the ones actually turning the soil, which is an incredible thing. So
he helped you always?
Absolutely. Yeah, so nature can take care of itself, and we just basically become the observers and help a little bit with what needs to be done. I am no expert, but as I was sharing with you, just that by observing, I've learned a lot.
Привет, малютка.
Remember I was telling you about the possums who turn it?
Yes.
The day before yesterday, the possums were here, because you see this here? You see it that it's turned, right? Because when I showed it to you initially, you couldn't see the soil. This they had also turned yesterday. I threw more stuff in there, but yeah. Must feed from the compost itself, because again, I don't fertilize them with anything.
You just fertilize it with organic?
Exactly. So with the compost, what I do is I'll soak legumes, which are they provide the needed nitrogen. So that's what goes in the compost, aside from, you know, when I sweep, all the droppings goes into the compost, and any vegetables that maybe get overdone. I also don't use any sort of man-made fertilizers. I keep a lot of the leaves, as you can see, around the area, because it helps with the moisture, but obviously with what the trees need.
We have lemon tree, peach tree, fig tree, and
Pomegranate.
This.
Persimmons, 2 apples, and 2 avocados.
Did you eat avocados from here?
Not yet, because like I said, they're only a year old, so they haven't bore any fruit. I'm ready to be surprised.
So nature teach you always?
1,000%, yes. If we just take the time to really observe and take in what nature can offer us, then you come to appreciate the synchronicity, you know, and how...
Synchronicity, like resonance, synchronization.
Exactly, how everything works together, and that includes us. And when we exclude ourselves, that's when we cause the horrible damage that we do. I was sharing with you how there's people who would prefer a sterile area. I for my part, love trees. I know how critical they are to our survival.
You say there is everywhere fruit trees you can meet and eat from public trees.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the beautiful things about San Pedro, by the way, which is the area where I live, that since San Pedro was settled by Croats and Italians and some Spaniards, And that is our culture, where you treasure the land. So
You mean this area?
so San Pedro has some really, really incredibly fertile soil. Most, I would say a lot of the older generations grow their own gardens. In fact, there's a young woman that I'll mention, and maybe you'll get to meet her. Her name is Army, and so what Army does, she gets to know the neighbors, and so she'll collect whatever you're growing, and she'll exchange with other neighbors. And there is a garden, a public garden here in San Pedro.
The lemons.
The garden here in San Pedro on 6th Street, by the way, where you can go and bring your stuff and trade.
And you can trade and grow there.
Exactly, and you can grow the stuff there as well.
This lady who gifted me vegetables, no?
She's one of my neighbors, you know, and so you'll experience that. So Cecilia is the one you're talking about, who grows a beautiful garden every year, not just flowers, but also all the edible things that she brought you, the squashes, the chives, the different types of kales. And then I have another neighbor named Mark who also grows an exquisite garden. I am nowhere near like them, and it's really beautiful. I think how all of us have our preferences, you know. For me, is trees, and so as you can see, it's all fruit trees. I don't know if you want to walk around so you can see them. So
Here is perfect soil. You feel this?
So I do that. It's because
looks very beautiful.
it became a teaching lesson for my youngest son. As you can see, we have a bungalow here, and the peach tree, if you want to zero in on it, the way that it's grown.
You can create, how is it, in AirBNB? They have another topic with experience.
Yes.
And you can, people can learn about recyclable and permaculture.
That's a great idea. And you know, Army, the young woman that I mentioned to you, that's one of the things that she does offer on Airbnb, it's experiences. And so I've had her, like, she'll call me and say I have some people that are coming. In fact, she's got a group coming from Japan, and she was asking about the peaches, and I said, well, this year the weather has been, you know, not typical, so the peaches won't be ready until possibly more like late July. So in July she's bringing some people, and it's really awesome because people come from all over, and
They want to see it.
yes, and the fascinating thing is the highlight for them is climbing up the trees, you know, or climbing up the ladder so they can pick the fruit. So Army does that. She'll take people around, neighbors that she's met like me, you know, who would allow it, and bring her guests to pick the fruit. So yeah.
I started to plant fruit trees from compost in Florida, and after I moved to California to meet my friends, and I met this woman who do same process, who did it already. You did it, you realized my desire.
I mean, I value them a lot, but there's some trees that I personally have an attachment to, and the fig and the pomegranate. Because they are the eldest of the trees. I mean, they're spoken of in the Bible, you know, and there's somewhat of a symbolism to them, and in fact.
About figs, spoken in the Bible.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
I don't know.
It is how people can tell when summer is approaching because the fig tree is already budding. But there's times where you see certain things happening and it's almost like you become oblivious to it. So there's almost like a sense of willful ignorance, you know? So that's what that passage actually alludes to.
But what they say it in the Bible about this fig tree?
So it was a
That's interesting.
yeah. So it was an object lesson in this particular passage, and it's in the Greek scriptures, which is attributes it to the life of Jesus. And so it was Jesus when he was talking to the religious leaders of the time, and what he said to them literally was that they were hypocrites. He says, because you can easily tell when summer is approaching by the budding of the fig tree, but yet you're seeing things happening and you're denying them. So do you see what I'm saying? So what he was saying, that there's almost like a willful ignorance on our part, and I think it's true, you know, because even today we see that about everything, you know. I mean, look at what is happening to the earth, you know, the fact that the planet is warming cannot be denied, and there's those who completely deny it and will rationalize it and say, well, no, you know, the earth goes through cycles, but the earth is going through some drastic changes, and those drastic changes could mean, you know, the end of life on it. I mean, yeah. Which is a whole entirely different topic, but as you know, the bees are in danger, and the reason why bees and other insects are in danger is because of what man has done. A lot of the herbicides, or all the herbicides and synthetic fertilizers, kill natural life, kill any type of insect, you know.
It's true, yes.
I have to share with you 1 year, and it was probably, I don't know.
So you don't use it nothing for here?
None. As I showed you for the mosquitoes, because the mosquitoes will feed from the compost, so I have the bucket where the nitrogen, it's in there, and they can, or the carbon dioxide rather, and so they can go in there, and you know, and then they become the food for the lizard that goes in there. But I was gonna share with you was that one year, and it was probably, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, I'm sitting on that chair, I was reading something, and then suddenly I hear like an army of finches that came, and you could hear them noisily, and they landed on this apple tree. Now there's some sort of an insect, it's kind of a white fly almost, that will sometimes, or in the past was on this tree. And what those birds were doing, they were cleaning the tree.
Birds?
They were cleaning the tree. And I remember prior to that thinking to myself, it's interesting how I can see this, but for some reason it's not damaging the apple.
And after it's disappeared.
And it's because the birds came in, and that's their job, you know. So you see what I'm talking about. So when we spray, we break the interdependence between insects and birds and plant life. And they're really delicious. If you can zero in on some of the ones that are being eaten already, unfortunately, having this type of environment creates all sorts of critters. But there are so many, there's enough for all of us, you know, for my neighbor to come and pick and for me to eat. And
that's true.
Yeah. The cycle, I don't know what other word to use, but yes, yeah.
That's very good. Birds need some work.
Yeah, so it's been, like I told you, it's been very educational for me to observe, you know, what's happening in this very tiny space, because as you can tell, it's not a very large yard.
Tiny space, maybe you need like big land.
And actually no, you know, because again, the idea is that you don't really need to amass, you know, a huge amount of land to produce what you need. You really don't, you know.
So for cities, it's very good conception.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely it is. Yeah, to have
about these last days, and I think if I have some house, I can create like you holes around house, and every days, maybe 2 days, every 2 days, I can bring some compost from my trash there with seeds, and it will be like trash holes.
Absolutely. Yeah, it will.
And after I will get some fruits and vegetables, and I can plant flowers there.
I know.
Thank you so much for this experience and for.
Oh, you're welcome.
Animals want to eat something good because they always looking some food.
They need to eat too. Yeah.
When I was in the desert, it's very difficult to find some food.
I know. Yeah. Disconnected, you know, and they don't, I mean, they walk in and I don't think they really internalize what is happening, you know, at all.
What is the reason?
Yeah, most people don't. And I tell them, you know, you may want to go sit in the garden, you know, and some will come and look at it. Oh, yeah, nice. And they walk right in, you know, right back out. So very few people appreciate
I
this.
understand.
Yeah. And so when those that appreciate it come, it makes me very happy because I think, you know, there's still a few of us who recognize how important this is.
Yes, I believe we should share this experience for people, for the world.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because especially the younger generation, they're not aware what it, you know, that the food that it's in their cans or in their boxes, someone planted it.
Yes.
You know, someone gave thought, and
It's not from plastic packets always.
exactly. Yeah, it's from plastic. Sort of tomato shape.
Oh, it looks like an apple, but it's
And eventually it becomes this really gorgeous pumpkin orange color
it will be ready when
in the fall.
in the winter.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah. So the
They
persimmon,
need frozen.
you can freeze it definitely. You can
Yeah.
dehydrate.
Mother and grandfather they planted always.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember, and my grandmother from father she planted blooms trees, and we have in my house in my country we have house and there is maybe 4 blooms trees, but they have always fruits.
Right. Yeah.
30 years after
That's awesome.
she did many years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. I mean, trees will live a long, long time if they have the right, you know, environment.
Like olive tree, they can live thousands years.
Right. Yes, definitely. Figs also.
Figs? Wow.
Yeah, fig tree and pomegranate. So they're, you know, they're very resilient trees. I have to show you something here. So a beetle has actually made a house in here.
Beetle?
And I'm concerned because as you can see that it's eating the tree from inside. So what I've done is I take peppermint oil and I soak this cotton and I just put it there. Now, will it work? You know, will it prevent the tree from eventually succumbing to what is happening? I don't know, but it's what I'm doing.
It's a hope.
Yeah, because I don't want to use anything else.